125, the log and line. Now, the fated Pequod had so long afloat this voyage, the log and line but very seldom been in use. Owing to a confident reliance upon other means of determining the vessel's place, some merchantmen and many whalemen, especially when cruising, wholly neglect to heave the log, though at the same time, and frequently more for form's sake than anything else, regularly putting down upon the customary slate the course steered by the ship, as well as the presumed average rate of progression every hour. It has thus been with the Pequod. The wooden reel and angular log attached hung long untouched, but just beneath the railing of the after bulwarks. Rains and spray had dampened it, sun and wind had warped it, all the elements had combined to rot a thing that hung so idly. But heedless of all of this, his mood seized Ahab as he happened to glance upon the reel, not many hours after the magnet scene, and he remembered how his quadrant was no more, and recalled his frantic oath about the level log and line. The ship was sailing plungingly astern, the billows rolled in riots. "Forward there, heave the log!" Two seamen came, the golden-hued Tahitian and the grizzly Manxman. "Take a reel, one of ye, and I'll heave." They went toward the extreme stern on the ship's lee side, where the deck, with oblique energy of the wind, was now almost dipping into the creamy, sidelong rushing sea. The Manxman took the reel, holding it up high by the projecting handle ends of the spindle, round which the spool of line revolved. So stood with the angular log hanging downwards, till Ahab advanced to him. Ahab stood before them and was lightly unwinding some 30 or 40 turns to form a preliminary hand coil to toss overboard, when the old Manxman, who was intently eyeing both him and the line, made bold to speak. "Sir, I mistrust it. This line looks far gone. Long heat and wet have spoiled it." "'Twill hold, old gentleman. Long heat and wet, have they spoiled thee? Thou seemst to hold, or truer perhaps, life holds thee, not that thou. "I hold the spool, sir, just as my captain says. With these gray hairs of mine, 'tis not worth disputing, especially with a superior who'll ne'er confess." "What's that? Where is now a patched professor in the Queen Nature's granite-founded college? But methinks he's too subservient. Where wert thou born?" "In the little rocky Isle of Man, sir." "Excellent, thou hit'st the world by that." "I know not, sir, but I was born there." "In the Isle of Man, hey, well, the other way, it's good. Here's a man from man, a man born once independent man, and now unmanned of man, which is sucked in by what? Up with the reel, the dead blind wall butts all inquiring heads at last. Up with it, so." The log was heaved. The loose coils rapidly straightened out in a long, dragging line astern, and then instantly the reel began to whirl. In turn, jerkily raised and lowered with the rolling billows, the towing resistance of the log caused the old reelman to stagger strangely. "Hold hard!" Snap! The overstrained line sagged down in one long festoon. The tugging log was gone. I crush the quadrant, the thunder turns the needles, and now the mad sea parts the log line. But Ahab can mend all. "Haul in the here, Tahitian, reel up, Manxman, and look ye, let the carpenter make another log, and mend thou the line. See to it." There he goes now. To him nothing's happened, but to me the skewer seems loosening out of the middle of the world. Haul in, Tahitian, let those lines run whole and whirling out. Come in broken and dragging it slow. Ha, Pip, come help. Pip. "Pip, whom call ye Pip?" Pip jumped from the whaleboat. "Pip's missing. Let's see if you've fished him up here, fisherman. It drags hard. I guess he's holding on. Jerk him, Tahiti. Jerk him off. We'll haul in no cowards here. Ho, there's his arm just breaking the water. A hatchet, a hatchet. Cut it off. We'll haul in no cowards here. Captain Ahab, sir. Here's Pip trying to get on board again." "Peace, thou crazy loon," cried the Manxman, seizing him by the arm. "Away from the quarter-deck." "The great idiot ever scolds the lesser," muttered Ahab, advancing. "Hands off from that holiness. Where sayest thou Pip was, boy?" "Astern there, sir, astern, low, low." "And who art thou, boy? I see not my reflection in the vacant pupils of thine eyes. O God, that man should be a thing for immortal souls to sift through. Who art thou, boy?" Bellboy, sir, ship's crier, ding dong, ding, pip, 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 100 pounds of clay, reward for Pip, 5 feet high, looks cowardly, quickest known by that, ding dong, ding, who's seen Pip the coward? There can be no hearts above the snow line. Oh, ye frozen heavens, look down here. Ye did beget this luckless child and have abandoned him, ye creative libertines. Here, boy, Ahab's cabin shall be Pip's home henceforth while Ahab lives. Thou touched my innermost center, boy. Thou art tied to me by cords woven of my heartstrings. Come, let's down. What's this? Here's velvet sharkskin intently gazing at Ahab's hand and feeling it. Ah, now, had poor Pip but felt so kind a thing as this, perhaps he had never been lost. This seems to me, sir, as a man-rope, something that weak souls may hold by. Oh, sir, let old Perth come now and rivet these two hands together, the black one with the white one, for I will not let this go. Oh, boy, nor will I thee, unless it should hereby drag thee to worse horrors than are here. Come then to my cabin. Lo, ye believers in gods and goddesses, and in man all ill. Lo, you, see the omniscient gods oblivious of suffering of man, and man, though idiotic, knowing what not he does, yet full of the sweet things of love and gratitude. Come, I feel prouder leading thee by thy black hand than though I grasped an emperor's. There go two daft ones now, muttered the old Manxman. One daft with strength, the other daft with weakness. But there's an end to the rotten line, all dripping too. Mend it, eh? I think we'd best have a new line altogether. I'll see Mr. Stubb about it. This is the end of chapter 125. So, we've talked before about Dead Reckoning, which is you know how fast you're going, you know which way you're going. So in theory, you multiply them together and you have, multiply them together by the time, and you know where you are from where you started. But how do you know how fast? You know, with a clock or a sundial, you know how long. The compass, hopefully, not anymore, would give you the direction. But the log and the line attaching the log, is a way of knowing how fast you're going. So essentially what it is it's a big lump of wood tied to a string. And you take the string, and the string is a known length. So let's say the string is 50 feet long. It's not 50 feet long, it's like hundreds of feet long. But, let's say, okay, the line is 100 feet long. So you take the wood, you throw it overboard, and the string goes, pulls out. And let's say it takes 50 seconds for the 100 feet of line to play out. So therefore, you're going 2 feet per second. Because the log, in theory, is stopped relative to the water, and the ship is moving with the water, is moving faster than the water. So you have the log going out, and you know how fast you're going. And if you have this calibrated right, you can say, okay, this is so many knots per hour. A knot is a short term for a nautical mile, which is what they use to measure velocity in boats and winds and ships. And a knot is a little bit longer than a mile. And knots are used for convenience because knots are used, and everybody who sails knows knots. So anyway, have a known length of string. Toss the log over side. String plays out. When it plays out, you know the time. Take the time and the length of the string, and you know how fast you're going. But this is how fast you're going relative to the water. And the water moves. So you have things like the Gulf Stream, where the Gulf Stream is a section of warm, fast-moving water in the North Atlantic. And it goes from the Gulf of Mexico up towards England, hits the coast of England, and then travels around Europe. As it hits Europe, it gets colder and drops off, and then eventually just kind of joins in, and more water comes into the Gulf of Mexico. So you have this warm, fast-moving, relatively fast-moving current. I mean, it's a couple miles an hour, a couple knots. It's not fast, but it's enough to throw off your navigation after a day or two. And here they are in the South Pacific, and there's a circum-Pacific current that just generally goes in a big circle around the Pacific. There's other ones that go like this, and there's all sorts of different currents, and you have to know what they are and where they are. And they didn't have them well mapped back then. So here they are. They could be off by a few miles an hour, and they won't know it because, if you're moving with the water, you can know how fast you're moving against the water, but if you move with the water, then, you move with the water and you don't realize it because there is no fixed reference. Here you are, you're out at sea. You can see 5 miles, 10 miles if you're up really high. And, there is no land for a couple 100 miles, so you aren't going to see any land. There is nothing in the sky that says this is here. It's not like the meridians of latitude are painted across the sky. That'd be kind of awesome, but they aren't. So you have no reference point. And so you're just kind of moving with the water, and you know how fast you're moving against the water, but you don't know how fast the water's moving. So Ahab is like even more bereft of tools. He smashed the nice scientific one. The almost as scientific compass broke, and now the log and the line broke, so he has no idea where he is.